The sun shone brightly, a perfect summer day. Birds chirped in the trees. Children's laughter echoed through the square. It was a scene of idyllic small-town life. The air was thick with the scent of freshly cut grass and blooming flowers. A gentle breeze rustled through the leaves, carrying with it the promise of a warm, pleasant day. Everything seemed perfect, peaceful, but something felt off, a hidden unease lurking beneath the surface. The day was June 27th. It was the day the town held its annual lottery, a tradition passed down for generations, a day etched in the townspeople's minds with a mix of fear and anticipation. The word lottery itself usually sparked joy, dreams of fortune, but not in this town. Here it was spoken in hushed tones, a nervous tremor in their voices. The children's laughter would fade, replaced by anxious whispers. The festive mood dampened, replaced by a palpable tension. The lottery was no cause for celebration. It was a grim ritual, shrouded in mystery and fear. The origins were lost to time, the true meaning obscured. But the villagers knew one thing: the lottery determined their fate. The townsfolk slowly gathered in the square. It was a day like any other, yet the air was thick with an unspoken tension. The village square, usually a place of casual chatter and laughter, now felt like a stage set for an inevitable drama. People moved with a sense of purpose, their steps heavy, as if weighed down by the gravity of the occasion. Their faces, weathered by time and hardship, reflected a mix of apprehension and grim acceptance. Each line and wrinkle told a story of survival, of enduring countless seasons of toil and struggle. The crowd was a tapestry of human emotion, each thread woven with care and concern. Some eyes darted nervously, while others stared blankly ahead, lost in thought. Mrs. Graves, the postmaster, her face etched with worry lines, clutched her shawl tightly. She had seen many such gatherings, but the weight of this one seemed particularly heavy. Her hands trembled slightly as she held onto the fabric, seeking comfort in its familiar texture. The shawl, a gift from her late mother, was a symbol of the past, a connection to a time when things were simpler. Mr. Summers, the jovial coal merchant, seemed to carry the weight of the day on his shoulders. Known for his hearty laugh and warm demeanor, today he was a different man. His eyes, usually twinkling with mischief, were now clouded with concern. The responsibility of the event lay heavily upon him, and he felt the burden of tradition pressing down on his spirit.
77 lotteries, and I still say it's necessary. The voice of Old Man Warner rang out, clear and unwavering. His words carried the weight of years, a testament to his steadfast belief in the ritual. He had seen generations come and go, each one participating in the same age-old tradition. Tradition must be upheld no matter what. His declaration was met with nods of agreement and murmurs of assent. The townsfolk, bound by the invisible chains of custom, felt the pull of history guiding their actions. It was a ritual that defined them, a practice that connected them to their ancestors.
Old Man Warner, the oldest man in town, stood as a stark reminder of the tradition's grip. His presence was a living link to the past, a symbol of continuity in a world that was constantly changing. His eyes, sharp and piercing, seemed to see through the veil of time, connecting the present to the countless lotteries that had come before. He had seen 77 lotteries and believed wholeheartedly in its necessity. To him, the ritual was more than just a tradition. It was a cornerstone of their society, a practice that ensured the community's survival. His belief was unshakable, forged in the fires of experience and tempered by the passage of time. His presence cast a long shadow over the gathering, a chilling symbol of blind adherence to the past. The townsfolk, standing in his shadow, felt the weight of his conviction. It was a reminder that some traditions, no matter how old, could still hold a powerful sway over the hearts and minds of the people. The lottery was more than just a ritual. It was a testament to the enduring power of tradition.
Sorry I'm late, everyone. I got caught up with some chores at home.
Among the crowd stood Tess Hutchinson, her face alight with a carefree smile, as if she were oblivious to the tension around her. She arrived late, rushing into the square with a playful apology, her eyes scanning the familiar faces around her.
It's all right, Tess, just in time. We were just about to start.
Her husband Bill, a burly man with calloused hands, stood beside their children, Jack, Nancy, and little Dave. His presence was a comforting anchor in the sea of unease. They were a picture of normalcy, a stark contrast to the undercurrent of dread that permeated the air. The children, unaware of the gravity of the situation, clung to their father's legs, their innocent faces a stark contrast to the worried expressions of the adults around them.
Mommy, why is everyone so quiet? Is something wrong?
Tess's cheerful facade began to crack as she noticed the somber mood. The weight of the atmosphere was starting to seep into her consciousness. She exchanged uneasy glances with her husband, a silent question passing between them. Bill's eyes, usually so steady and reassuring, were clouded with concern. The weight of the day, the unspoken fear, finally dawned on her. The realization hit her like a cold wave and her heart began to race. She could feel the collective anxiety of the crowd pressing down on her, making it hard to breathe. The once familiar faces now seemed distant and alien, their expressions mirroring her own growing dread. Tess clutched Bill's arm, seeking comfort in his solid presence, but even he seemed unable to dispel the dark cloud hanging over them. The day that had started with such normalcy was now taking a turn towards something ominous, and Tess could no longer ignore the signs. The Hutchinsons, like everyone else in the square, were about to face something that would change their lives forever. Mr. Summers, the lottery official, arrived with the black wooden box. It was battered and worn, a testament to its age and the countless lotteries it had presided over. The black paint was chipped, revealing glimpses of the wood beneath, a silent reminder of the countless hands that had trembled as they drew their fate. A hush fell over the crowd as Mr. Summers placed the box on a three-legged stool. The villagers avoided eye contact, their gazes fixed on the ominous symbol of their tradition. The silence was deafening, broken only by the rustle of clothing and the occasional cough. The anticipation was suffocating, a heavy weight pressing down on their chests. Mr. Summers cleared his throat, his voice booming across the square.
"Let's get this over with, folks," he announced, his usual cheerfulness replaced by a somber tone.
He began calling out names, starting with the men of each household. Each name was met with a collective sigh of relief from the families, the tension momentarily broken. One by one, the men stepped forward, their faces etched with apprehension to draw a slip of paper from the box. The slips were blank except for one. One slip held a single black dot, marking the unlucky winner. The fate of the entire family rested on that single, terrifying dot.
"Hutchinson!" Mr. Summers called out.
Bill Hutchinson stepped forward, his face pale and drawn. He drew a slip from the box, his hand shaking slightly. He quickly stuffed it into his pocket, avoiding eye contact with his wife. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife.
Gasp. Wait! She cried out, her voice laced with panic. It's not fair! Bill was late. He didn't have a chance to...
Her words trailed off, the realization of her family's fate dawning on her.
"It's just the luck of the draw, Tess. Everyone gets a fair chance."
But his words rang hollow in the face of the impending horror. With trembling hands, Tess reached into her husband's pocket and pulled out the slip of paper. She unfolded it slowly, her heart pounding in her chest. There, staring back at her, was the single black dot, the mark of doom, the harbinger of their destruction. The crowd surged forward, their faces a mixture of fear and morbid curiosity. The children, their laughter now replaced by terrified whimpers, clung to their parents. The air crackled with a primal energy, a sense of something ancient and terrible about to unfold. The villagers began to gather stones, their faces hardening with a chilling resolve. The stones, smooth and cold, felt heavy in their hands, a physical manifestation of their blind obedience to tradition. The lottery, once an abstract concept, was now a terrifying reality.
Stop it, this is wrong, we're a family!
But her pleas fell on deaf ears. The villagers, their faces twisted with a mix of fear and a strange sense of duty, continued to advance. The weight of tradition, passed down through generations, had crushed their humanity. The lottery, once a ritual shrouded in mystery, was now revealed in all its brutality. The villagers, blinded by fear and the need to conform, were now active participants in this horrific act. The story of the lottery serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers of blind adherence to tradition. In a seemingly peaceful and quaint village, the annual lottery is an event that everyone participates in without question. The cobblestone streets and vintage buildings hide a dark secret that the townspeople have accepted as a norm. It forces us to confront the darkness that can lie at the heart of seemingly idyllic communities. The empty playgrounds and deserted streets at dusk paint a picture of a town that is both serene and sinister. The quiet alleyways whisper tales of conformity and fear, where the true nature of the community is revealed in the shadows. The story's enduring power lies in its ability to make us question our own beliefs and the unspoken rules that govern our lives. As we watch a solitary figure walking through a quiet park, or a group of people in a tense discussion, we are reminded of the internal and external conflicts that arise when tradition is challenged. The contemplative person looking out a window symbolizes the introspection we must all undertake. It leaves us with a haunting question. What are we willing to sacrifice in the name of tradition? The menacing sky over a rural landscape and the person standing at a crossroads represent the choices we face. The abandoned house with an overgrown yard serves as a metaphor for the consequences of unexamined traditions left to decay and fester. And are we willing to challenge the status quo, even when it means facing the disapproval of our peers? The isolated individual in a crowd and the person standing alone in a field highlight the loneliness and courage required to stand against the majority. The group of people turning away from someone illustrates the social ostracism that often accompanies such defiance. The lottery, a stark reminder of the potential for human cruelty, compels us to examine our own capacity for both good and evil. The close-up of anxious eyes and the eerie forest path evoke a sense of dread and anticipation. The hands clutching a piece of paper tightly symbolize the weight of tradition and the fear of breaking free from it. This story, with its unsettling imagery and profound questions, urges us to reflect on our own lives and the traditions we uphold, challenging us to seek a balance between respect for the past and the courage to forge a new path.
The shadows are restless tonight, and so are we. If you're brave enough, hit that like button. Let us know what you think in the comments, and subscribe for more spine-tingling stories that lurk just around the corner.